You have 75 days at this point to get your real ID. So after years of postponements, this is the real ID deadline. Chris McGinnis is joining us now in the studio with more on what you need to know about this. Good morning, Chris.
For real, yes.
Yeah.
The federal real ID deadline has been pushed back several times since 2008, but TSA officials say this time it's real. We took a trip to the DMV to see why this is happening now, how they're preparing for increased demand, and what you need to do.
The first deadline was 2008. That didn't happen. Then it got pushed out. Then it got pushed out. Then it was 2020. Then COVID hit.
The Real ID Act of 2005 was a response to the 9/11 terror attacks. The government wanted stricter policies for identification.
People are kind of used to hearing that Real ID has been pushed out and this isn't real. This is the real ID deadline.
Last month, TSA published a final rule that calls for a phased-in enforcement of Real ID. An email yesterday from TSA states, "We don't have the details on how that might look, but the TSA is committed to facilitating a smooth transition to Real ID enforcement beginning May 7th.
TSA actually accepts other forms of identification, but the two biggies are going to be a Real ID license or a passport.
And if you don't have one?
Technically, as of May 7th, you will not be getting on a plane.
Getting a Real ID isn't automatic. It costs extra on top of your normal renewal fees.
Okay, we'll give you the Costco Visa.
So it's the X plus $30, and that $30 covers all the extra equipment and staffing that we've had to get to conform to the federal government's Real ID standards.
The Oregon DMV has brought on 26 temporary positions to help with the expected increase in demand. To get a Real ID, you'll need documents proving your identity, U.S. citizenship, and 2 proofs of address.
You need to bring in proof of your identity. You have to bring in proof of where you live in the U.S., 2 different types. You have to bring your date of birth, and you have to bring proof that you're a citizen. You also need to provide your social security number. You don't have to bring your card in, but you do have to be able to rattle off your number.
So far, only 33% of Oregonians have opted for a Real ID.
That's 1.2 million people. The rest have either chosen purposely to not get a Real ID, or they are waiting until their credential expires so that they can come in and get it then when they need it.
And for families, there's one key detail.
Children do not need a Real ID. No one under the age of 18 needs a Real ID.
Okay, so the bottom line is if you plan to fly and you don't have a passport, you need to get a Real ID before May 7th. Otherwise, you could be grounded. The DMV website has a handy checklist of needed documents. It's really straightforward, and while it's recommended that you make an appointment, you can always walk right in. I went through the process myself, and I got my Real ID in the mail 12 days after visiting the DMV.